My name is Travis Escobar. I've served on the school board since 2019. I served as vice president for a year. The first in my family to graduate. I might as well give a little bit of bio over here, right? First in my family to graduate high school, college. Grew up in Southside Providence. Grew up in affordable housing. Single mother that went as a gun violence survivor, domestic violence survivor, turned advocate. She advocated for years with Sisters Overcoming Abusive Relationships. I remember being in high school, waiting for Rip the Bus, seeing her face on Rip the Bus, seeing her face on campaigns. And at first, I was pretty angry about that. Wasn't really, I didn't really understand the power. I didn't really understand the power of advocacy back then, and seeing her on the television, sort of talking about these issues. And in high school, went to Times Square Academy. I barely graduated. Junior year of my high school, failed English and Spanish. And like Latino, I don't think I speak Spanish, but it's one of those embarrassing moments of junior year. And senior year, 2008, wanted to sort of apply myself. Got inspired by the Obama campaign, and decided to go to Rhode Island College and study political science, public administration. Graduated after years being a student government president. Did a lot of cool things at Rhode Island College. And then after that, we founded from Millennial Rhode Island. We're actually co-founders of Millennial Rhode Island. The state's premier networking organization has connected thousands of young professionals. Since 2018, has given scholarships to high school students that are interested in entrepreneurship, and has been a community for young professionals looking to stay in the state, stay in Rhode Island. After that, I spent 5 years in United Way of Rhode Island doing advocacy around affordable housing and after school and summer learning education. I think increasing, especially after school and summer learning programs, is actually pretty big for me since then, and even a priority in the Providence School. And currently, I work at Fidelity Investments, where I'm the manager of community relations. I get to do financial education programming for young people. One of those programs is actually a program of the Providence After School Alliance. It's a summer program we've done for 2 years in a row. We bring students in and we get them educated on financial education. We give them a healthy stipend and we get them to travel to different colleges and different fun things and experience connecting with a bunch of associates. So why do I want to continue being on the school board and in this leadership role? Is because this is a very important time in our city's history. And I believe we need to be focused on what does this mean for a return to local control. And what it's mean for me, at least in this 1 year being in leadership, is I want to do everything in my power to kind of close the racial wealth gap. So whether that's been chairing the Career Tech and Education Committee, which we have students that graduate from high school into well-paying jobs and into careers that are great. That is, I think, one of our shining star initiatives that we have in the district, and we need more funding, we need more support. But along with it, I want to be able to pass policies, update policies that we have within the school board. And as an advisory board, I feel it's really important for the Providence School Board to have great relationships with the Department of Education, with City Hall, with the mayor, and with the community, to really be able to do really improve this education system for our families, for our youth. Name a successful urban education system in America. Right? There's been a huge struggle pre-COVID. COVID has only accelerated a lot of those struggles that we have seen. So I also view my position as less political and more of problem solving. So for example, the school closure policy, the school closures that we see, we haven't updated a policy, I think, since the 70s or 80s. It's something that I want to focus on in this leadership role, and really make sure that we have a good dialogue, good working relationship with the Department of Education and City Hall when it comes to important decisions. Actually, what I just said before this meeting, pre the takeover, our board would be making these tough decisions. A lot of people don't talk about we're facing a tough fiscal challenge in the city. I see Councilman Sanchez right there. You can attest that the city's finances we're not in the greatest shape, right? When we talk about decline in enrollment, our support to the state, where we have in the city in terms of revenue, after the takeover, there's gonna be tough decisions that we're gonna have to make as a board. Not everything could be what's on social media. Not everything can be sort of what you're swayed to do. Sometimes it's really looking at what resources do you have to make the best for students and families. And unfortunately, that comes with difficult decisions. I believe the Providence School Board in general is, other than being a city council member, is the most important board to be on. It's not looked at it, it's not treated as such. But as you saw from the last meeting, which I couldn't make, because when you look at the last meeting, you don't have hundreds of people go to many other committee or commission hearings within the city. So we matter, we're important, and regardless of how the vote turns out, I want to be someone that makes sure every board member is in a working collaboration with each other, try to build those relationships, make sure everyone is productive. So that's why I want to continue in what could be my last year on the school board in leadership role specifically.
Thank you, Vice President Escobar. Ms. Hughes.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm Melissa Hughes, and I've been nominated as secretary for the executive committee of the board. I'm here, like Ms. Newman and Mr. Nina. I just joined this board about February 1st. I have spent a lot of time in this room before applying and joining this board in my capacity as a parent and a parent leader in different spaces. When I was growing up, I did not grow up in Rhode Island. I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which has some similarities to our community here. I grew up with a single mom who worked second shift and could not attend meetings like this or come to my school very often. She didn't have transportation. We struggled with housing and food insecurity. My own family's situation now here in Providence is very different than that, but that experience growing up really stuck with me, and it reminds me that we don't always know what families' individual situations are, but we always know that parents care, and they care about what's happening in their schools. They want their kids to be safe. They want their kids to be cared for, and they want their kids to get what they need at school so that they can be successful as they grow and when they become adults. My kids have been in PPSD since kindergarten. My children went to Barton Gregorian Elementary, Nathan Bishop, and Classical High School. I still have a 10th grader and 8th grader now. Since my son started in kindergarten, I have been involved with parent-teacher organizations at the school level. I joined I've lost count now, let's ballpark 6 or 7 years ago, I joined the district's Parent Advisory Council, which is convened by the district's Family and Community Engagement Office. So well prior to the takeover, I had the opportunity to meet with families from across the district who were either leading parent groups or trying to start parent groups in their schools. Not every school has that opportunity. And it's been a space where I've learned so much from other parents whose situations might be completely different than mine, but again, our goals are the same, to make sure that parents and families feel connected to their school so that they can work in partnership with the school to help their kids be successful. Since that time, I've also joined an organization called Parents Leading for Educational Equity, or LEAD. That organization was founded and is led by parents of color, both in Providence and in other parts of Rhode Island. That has also been an extremely wonderful opportunity for me to learn from other families. Just because some of my experiences growing up or some of my kids' peers might be experiencing something, I recognize that as a white woman with privilege, I am not experiencing that right now, and that I have a lot to learn from our very diverse and wonderful communities in Providence. I am committed to continuing to meet with families where they are and hear from them. And again, while we share those goals, often what families want doesn't look the same. What we think might make our kid feel safe might not be the same thing as our neighbor, might not be the same thing at elementary school versus high school. It might not be the same thing at one school versus another. And so part of what motivated me to move from those school-based and parent advisory council spaces to come and apply to this board was because I think that sometimes, even though this board is not making decisions at this time, I think this board and then the folks from PPSD and RIDE who speak to us here, who share about updates and decisions that they're making, oftentimes that's not directly connected to what families experience in our schools. And I would like to help people hear each other better in that space and make sure that both this board and as well as decision makers, both here in this building and down the street at RIDE, really understand what that experience looks like. No matter whether your intentions are good or not, whether you have good reasons for a decision or not. I think we heard a lot at our last meeting, and I see some familiar faces from our last meeting, that process matters, communication matters, engagement matters, and when hard decisions have to be made, I share in Mr. Escobar's urgency about the situations that we're in, and because of these different factors of finances and enrollment and other things, that hard decisions are coming, and they're here. And we have to find a better way as a community to be honest and transparent with one another and trust that we can have hard decisions and have respectful disagreement and then move forward together to continue to give families what they need in this system. I have a little bit of experience as well on the school building committee with Mr. Mitchell, who is there as well. And that is the committee right now that works with the city and the state to help with our school construction projects and renovations. And that's been an amazing experience to get to help voice potential parent concerns and family and student and community concerns. So it's great to have a brand new building, but how does that impact parking for the neighbors? How does that impact the noise and dust from the construction? Have we thought about, are we allowing for green space to be used for our kids to play during the day and also for the community to enjoy and other things like that? And I've also tried to help in that space, again, to push those decision makers to think about how are you engaging folks throughout the process? How are you helping connect decision makers like city councilors, like the mayor, like financial folks, like the construction teams? How are we making sure that those folks always never ever lose sight of the reason that they're doing that construction, which is to make better schools for our kids and make modern spaces for our educators so that they can also serve our kids. So I hope that answers a little bit of your question, Ms. Newman, and I welcome if folks have other questions for me. I will admit that this would be a new role for me. I've never been on an appointed body before and held a leadership role. So I am excited to learn more about what that entails and how I can serve. And I'm really excited to serve with each and every one of you on this board and to serve this community that's here. And I want to hear from you and learn from you of how I personally, as well as my fellow leaders and other board members can serve you better. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. And I'll keep my answers succinct. So I believe I've done outreach to every single member on this board. So I appreciate the nomination and second to some of the safety. Just a quick bio on me. I'm a Providence kid, born and raised, born in the Bay Gilbert Stewart Classical High School graduate. I went to Roger Williams University where I met Mr. Martinez, who's an educator at 360. Nice to see you again. After law school, I decided not to take the bar exam, and I went the teaching route. I taught for 4 years, 3 years at Gilbert Stewart Middle School, and 1 year at Alvarez High School, where I taught English and English language development to multi-language learners. I've worked in government. I've worked at City Hall. I worked as interim chief of staff for now Superintendent Javier Montañez. I currently work with the Lieutenant Governor's office. And so I've seen our district and our school system from multiple vantage points and angles that have allowed me to have a firm grasp on, for lack of a better term, what's BS, what's real, what's not real, what merits attention, what doesn't merit attention. I will add that I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm just as comfortable walking up to a basketball game at Buckland Park as I am walking to the governor's office and having a conversation with the governor. I believe that your vote of confidence means that you trust that I'm able to guide the agenda for this panel. I believe that your vote of confidence means that you trust my judgment. I make tough calls, I make tough decisions, and that means sometimes I get spazzed on by the community, and that's okay. Sometimes that means that Riot and PPSD are mad at me, and that's okay. Sometimes that means that people in City Hall are mad at me, and that's okay. So I'm very comfortable making tough decisions, even if they mean they're unpopular, if I think it's the right one for kids. So that's why I'm throwing my hat in the ring again for president. I was president last year. Despite how excruciating change was last year, we could put some points on the board, and my plan is to continue building on that momentum and putting even more points on the board this year. And so that's my spiel. So if you have any follow-up questions, if anybody has any follow-up questions for me, I welcome them at this time.
I do really quick again. I don't want to take up a bunch of time. My apologies, but I know some people want to speak from the community. You know, I'm definitely transparent because I definitely want to work, and I'm transparent about this with each and every individual on the board. I think there's a lot of work to get done. Definitely knowing that the school board is getting ready to go into half elected, half appointed. So I think we need to definitely come together best way as possible. With that being said, and I don't want anyone to take offense to it, another reason why I think I voted no is because, you know, I'm hearing that 3 out of 4 or 5 of the chairmanships is going to be given to non-people of color. And I'm not calling you guys out by any means. I can't support a leadership team like that when we have the Michael Nunes and we have the Ashley Newmans and the Mr. Mahingaboos and the Erlins and Travises. Not saying that they don't have the skill set, but when the district is about 98% black and brown, and we have 2 individuals, and we have different committees that are going to be key decision makers to policies that's going to sort of be given back to the school board and be operated by, I know that that is just, in fact, a little concerning. Now, I don't have nothing against, you know, non-people of color, because all my teachers was non-people of color, and I love all of my teachers. And I love all of you that is currently on the board. So I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but it's a serious issue because we have to also embrace diversity in a way. And for most of the chairmanships to be given out like that, I think is a concern. And then, you know, Ms. Aiken knows I respect her and I respect her capacity. We definitely had communications, but for me not to get no serious consideration after serving as the vice chair of finance, not to get any real consideration for that role and all that, you know, I do in fact in the community is another reason why me personally, why I'm voting no to this leadership structure. That doesn't mean I'm not willing to work with this leadership team. You guys will be our leaders. So, you know, I'm going to demand a lot, but also I want to definitely have a good working relationship with each of you. But those are the key reasons why. I don't want it to just be like, oh, Tyrell's voting no, just because he don't like it. No, there is some key concerns that I have. And, you know, I know a lot of you spoke about your experiences, but when she said like your goals and your plans, I didn't hear a lot of that. And I know that that's something that I hope you guys can definitely work on moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, there's been a motion, there's been a nominated slate, and it's been seconded. Discussion is over. Madam Clerk, can you please call a roll call? Can you please call a roll call vote?
Travis Escobar. Mike G. Mahingable.
Nay.
Melissa Hughes.
Aye.
Michael Lena.
Aye.
Tony Aiken.
Aye.
George Patel.
Aye.
Angel Newman.
I don't know if my name was called or Mr. Stevens' name was called.
I'm sorry, Early Mobley.
Aye. Mrs. Stevens.
Tyrell Stevens.
No.
So there's 7 in the affirmative, 2 against. The nomination passes, and we have a new leader. Congratulations to Ms. Hughes, and congratulations again to Vice President Escobar. Moving on to our next item, item 3.2 has been withdrawn. Next item is approval of consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, we have public comment. I see some folks in the crowd. I don't know if there was a sign-up sheet.
Only one person signed up.
Let's give deference to the person who signed up, and then we'll go to the room.
Ellen Foley.
Ms. Foley, welcome. You have 3 minutes and you can begin when you're ready.
Hello again. My name is Dr. Ellen Foley, and I was here on February 15th, and I'm here again today representing 360 High School. And my colleagues, some of whom are here, and my students and their families and I are still fighting to keep our school open. And they sent us here to thank you for listening to our community 2 weeks ago and for spending the time to hear our concerns. We were not afforded the same opportunity at the Council of Education meeting on Tuesday night, so we especially appreciate it. I've submitted written comments that are lengthier, but I do want to rebut several of the assertions that were made in the district and state panel presentation 2 weeks ago. First, they told you that 360 is chronically underperforming, but we have only been a one-star school since the pandemic. And since then, every school in the country has struggled to make up for the learning losses that occurred during that unprecedented time. We are actually on the cusp of leaving comprehensive school improvement. We need just 2 students to score in the high growth area to gain another star, but we were closed before our students even had the chance to take the test in April. As you heard last time, our culture and climate are second to none. As I described, that is a key prerequisite for school improvement. Our data show that our students are nurtured, supported, and challenged. Second, the district also said that 360 is more expensive to operate than other schools due to its size. But our per pupil expenditure is about $3,500 less than the average for high schools in Providence. This data is readily available on RISE's own website. Third, the panel also said the closure would provide opportunities for students through a planned life sciences CTE program, but they failed to consider the harms that school closures cause to students, which affect achievement, attendance, and other important factors. And even if the merging of the student body goes well, it is unlikely that level 1, 2, and 3 multilingual learners, which make up more than half of our student body, would be able to access the credentialing opportunities of the CTE program. They do not have space in their schedule due to ELD course requirements. I have more detail about all of that in my written comments, but what I wanted to say today beyond thank you is that I hope you'll support a resolution to stop this closure. Doing so would put you on the record as supporting a high-quality school in one of Providence's most marginalized neighborhoods. And it would also show your concern for public education in general. You wouldn't be on this board otherwise, right? It is wrong that state and district leaders have such unfettered control that they can make decisions without any public input and without any accountability. It is wrong that the superintendent and commissioner and staff are not here. They simply avoid the public when they make poor decisions. So please support a resolution that ends this closure, not just for 360's sake, but for the sake of public education in this city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody in the first row who would like to come up and offer public comment? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Can you hear me? Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, congratulations on the new leadership team. My name is Miguel Sanchez, City Councilor in Ward 6, Mount Pleasant and Valley neighborhoods here. I just want to first extend my team as counselors. I mean, we're all kind of in a difficult boat in terms of we're really trying to figure out what our role in education under this state takeover. At least me personally speaking, it's a very difficult challenge. I definitely don't want to get into unproductive dialogue or keep adding flames to a fire. But we've reached a point where it's almost impossible to not get engaged. We have neighbors coming to us, asking us what's going on. And that's all I ask for you guys. I understand the authority might not be there, but we all certainly have the platform to advocate on behalf of our communities. And that's kind of my biggest concern right now with how the state takeover is, at least me speaking for myself, with the correct process, with the correct data, with the correct communication, with the correct engagement. Although it might be a difficult decision to close a school, I'm okay with those difficult decisions as long as those metrics are being met. And what we saw last year with the closure of Carl Lauro and Broad Street was the very lack of communication engagement prior to those decision made, and then of course the reaction of the community. And in my opinion, at least, that is the most concerning part is that from RIDE's and PPSD's management is they're more concerned with the reaction of a community of students, of families, of teachers, and not necessarily with their own actions. So obviously, when you see an important decision like that on the news for the first time, you're obviously going to be outraged. You're going to use your energy and time to fight those decisions. So I was pretty vocal last year, but I was still a new city councilor trying to figure out what my role was again. But this year we saw the exact same thing, and that's the very discouraging part is that RIDE and PPSD leadership, first of all, doesn't even respect this board enough to show up to these meetings, which is pretty concerning on itself. But it's not really valuing the community outrage and outcry, and that's my biggest concern with all this. Like I said, if the data, the metrics make sense, and the communication to close the school is what's best for the district as a whole, then I mean we'll move forward with those difficult decisions. But in my opinion, the whole process and the lack of engagement and communication, the district coming in one day and announcing it and not being able to take feedback or create a process that values the community's engagement input is my biggest concern with school closures. But like I said earlier, I come here as a city councilor with open arms to doing whatever we can on our end to prevent similar decisions from happening in the future. I definitely support the 360 effort to stop that closure. So just so you're aware that the city council next docket will have a similar resolution that will be trying to collect enough support to send to RIDE PPSD. But I appreciate all your guys' service. The three new members, you guys really had a very interesting first meeting. But that's what I appreciate the most is that you guys allow the community to express themselves. At the very least, that's what we need to do as elected appointed officials is create a space where folks can come and share their emotions, share their feelings, share their words, and hopefully take that feedback and really value it to be making different decisions or any future decisions that need to be made. So thank you. I'm not sure what's the process to speak at this. Thank you. I asked quickly because so similar concerns to what happened at RIDE. Even though it's a process on paper, it's not the process that as human beings, as elected officials, we should be following. So Chair, I thank you. If I'm sitting on a committee with any of my colleagues and I see a chairperson of public comment, they're always doing what you did is we will take whoever signed up, but also making sure that anyone who took time out of their day to come to these public comment engagements, the opportunity to speak. So at the very least, we definitely need to keep with those efforts and keep using the platform that we all have to advocate on behalf of our communities. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilor. Anybody else in the first row?
Yeah.
Mr. Martinez?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you, everybody on the school board, for giving us a chance to come again and speak up. I'll keep it brief. I wasn't really prepared to come up and speak tonight, but I just want to share my perspective as a teacher at 360 right now. The amount of stress that I've been under over the past few weeks has been real devastating. Just being kind of sprung with the surprise of school closure, not really knowing, what's going to be the next steps in my career, and being put in a position where for the first time in my 10-year career, I'm kind of questioning, my faith in this school district, which is it's hard for me because I was a student here, as I mentioned at the last meeting, and I've been a proud teacher in this district for a decade now, which is one of the things I was a goal for me since the time I was 15, to like literally be able to say I taught in Providence for 10 years. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, and as I come to that point in my career, it's not the way I thought it would feel. I thought I would be a lot more proud of the district that I graduated from, that I've been working for, that I've been serving students in. Like I said, for 10 years already. So I just wanted to come and express that level of stress, anxiety that I've been dealing with ever since we got the news a few weeks ago. That's the perspective I wanted to bring, and can only imagine how the youth are feeling and how they're dealing with this at the moment. The day after everybody caught wind of it, which, by the way, most of my students found out from reading an article in the Boston Globe, which is shameful. I had students coming up to me crying, saying, "What are we gonna do? We can't just let this happen." So appreciate you guys giving us a platform to come speak to this. We really do hope that you support us and you pass this resolution, and do whatever you guys can do in your power to vocalize supporting 360 and ending that school closure. And I really hope in the near future you guys are able to get control back of the district and have more power in managing the different decisions that are impacting our students, their families, and also the educators that dedicate themselves to teaching these students. So that's what I'd like to say for tonight. Thank you all.
Thank you, Martinez. And don't leave the district. We need you. Any other members of the public would like to come up and offer words to the board?
I'll come up. I didn't sign up.
Sure. Welcome. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Rosanna Borum. I'm a special education teacher at 360, and I did not plan on speaking tonight, but I do have a lot that I'd like to share with you. First, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to us last week. We had a lot to say, and we have a lot of feelings from our kids and parents that weren't able to attend. But what I'd like to share with you is just some echoes that Ellen had regarding some of the misinformation, I guess is the best way I can say it. We were supposed to be a 2-star school, and in one of the meetings that we had last year, one of the reasons why we didn't enter into a 2-star is because my special ed program actually took things very seriously about transitioning kids into the 5th year, because that's what we're supposed to do with special education, prepare kids for transitioning into the adult world. And we are, because of a policy that we have, and I think you're going to have to change that for us through RIDE and working together with them. When kids are in special education, we focus on transitioning. And if we send them to one of the programs that are 5th year in Providence, we get docked. We get negative points for us. And that was one of the reasons why we didn't make it to a 2-star. And we were doing the right thing for our students. And I had to tell you, I promised I would never send kids there unless I absolutely had to send them to those programs. So instead, in the style of 360, we are problem solvers. So it's really nice to hear that from you, that it's all about solving issues. So we are a school of innovation. And when I came here, that's the reason why I came to 360, because I wanted to be part of that exciting opportunity. I stopped teaching for a while as a stay-at-home mom, but I specifically went to 360 because it was a lighthouse school, and the whole point of it was to be a project-based learning school, and I had done that previously in schools that I worked in, and I think that's the way to go. And so when I went there, we planned on, I can't do the other programs, so we searched out, and we went to the governor's course for labor and training, and we found programs for kids. There was another teacher in my building found a program for one of my kids that I didn't know about, and I was really excited for them, because that student now is in the program, is ahead of going out and helping other youth build what you experienced, and I have to tell you, that's what we're about. We're about finding answers where nobody else has the solutions. I know these wonderful buildings that you're creating, I think they're really nice for some kids, but it's not for all kids. And that's what we do. We look for every single kid to have a spot somewhere. And we don't do just plan A. I do a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C because our kids come back to us when plan A doesn't work. And we're ready for plan B for them. And that's what we do. We advocate for kids. They know where they can come back to us. And in the summer, I get phone calls from kids that say, Rosanna, can you help me get to that next stop because I've forgotten how to do it? First thing I do is I say, absolutely, that's what we're here for. So I want you to know, we're not just about shutting the door at the end of the school year. We're not about shutting the door and just saying, see you later, kiddos. We are there because we care about where they're going. And I also want you to know we're about innovation. Again, I wish the superintendent was here. We started a new program for kids that cannot read on more than the third grade level. It's really sad. We've not got kids that are wanting to read, or they say they hate reading, but when they leave, and we have kids now that they want to learn how to write, they want to become authors, they want to become teachers, they want to go to college now. And we did it in 2 years. And you don't know about the programs. We call it the linguistics lab because what high school kid wants to hear that they're only reading on a third or second grade level? They don't. And they want to graduate. And I have kids that are embracing that, and they are so afraid they're not going to have that linguistics lab next year. And I can tell you, we are the only school in the district doing it because we were the ones that got trained before everybody had to go get letters. Terry found us grant money to go to URI and get trained. And so we are a part of the URI group, a team, and we're going to try to teach everybody how to do that because that's what we do at 360. And I hope that you know we never got a chance to put up the greenhouse that we had it in our building somewhere for 3 years because we wanted to do work-based learning. We want to do project-based learning. It's still sitting somewhere in the boxes. The other thing we have still sitting in the box, we wanted to make an outdoor classroom, quite frankly, like they have at Moses Brown, because our kids deserve that. It's still sitting in a box. And we got the grant through you. And I have to tell you, it's a wonderful opportunity, but we're just on the precipice. We're just on that turning point, and if you give us that blessing, and you can convince Ride and the governor and the commissioner that we are what you have right on Ride has on their first page, what a great school we have about teaching kids to be themselves, to learn to have confidence and never give up. Learning is an important thing to teach kids, and our kids believe it.
You get to your final thoughts, I'm sorry.
Oh no, my thoughts are, don't give up on us. We're not giving up on school, and we're not giving up on the kids. So please don't give up on us. And thank you so much for, you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your service. Are there any other members of the public that wish to speak tonight? Hearing none, thank you so much for the community members that came. We are moving on to school board member comments. I think it'd be appropriate, Chairman Mahingo, if you'd like to give an update. I know you took the initiative to start drafting a resolution, so would you like to provide the public an update?
Yeah, so I sent the resolutions. The resolution is for the Providence Public School District and Ride to reverse that decision to close all Maryland 360 High School. And I sent it to the whole board. I'm very thankful for the other board members that reached out to me. I'm thankful to vice presidents and Angel, Michael Needham, and also I talked to the president this morning that the resolution is going to be added in our next agenda next month.
Thank you, Chairman. So the resolution should be, just like the city council, should be on our next business meeting. So third Wednesday in March, it should be on that agenda. Any further school board member comments?
I do.
Mr. Stevens?
I don't mean to talk. Sheep. What is that sound? I don't know. Okay. The new board members will learn easily. Well, you know, Miss Melissa, I talk a lot at these meetings. But I do definitely want to welcome the new board leadership. I look forward to working with you all. I was told that you may be the chair of policy, Miss Melissa. I have a lot of suggestions as it pertains to pushing policy forward, and also some resolutions that can definitely clean up some things in the district. Nothing too difficult that's not worth supporting. At the last meeting, I had to leave early, so I wasn't able to really dig deep into the closure at 360. And it's being streamed, and I know Mr. Zach is one of two people here from the district that is in the superintendent's office. And I'm not calling you out, but I'm just saying he's here. So what I'm saying is definitely, you can definitely hear what I'm saying. I was told that Ryan is calling it a merger. Now, my concern is that if it's in fact a merger, shouldn't teachers, and not only teachers, but administrators merge in to Juanita Sanchez if in fact that was sort of the case that they was predicting? My response that I received was no. So with it being no, it doesn't in fact, excuse me, make that a merger. So that the language on that is what's in fact concerning. Kerry and Rich is doing an amazing job over there at 360. How do Tyrell know? I went to Juanita Sanchez and I was able to see it firsthand. I was always on their side of the school. I went to class, but I was always on their side of the school, and I was a very big supporter of that program. And the program had just gotten started, I believe, in 2017 or 16 or 17, and there was a lot of amazing work going on there. And there was also a lot of amazing work going on at Sanchez at that time. And what happened was they cut Sanchez out and brought 360 in, and that both schools is finally getting comfortable in that space. So now to sort of dismiss them and then skip a process is what's concerning. So with Mr. Mahigaboo having a resolution, I'm definitely going to support that. I already had conversations with him. I think it's important. I know that if in fact this is something that the school board is in fact going to do, I know that it may need a special meeting because I'm hearing there's a certain date to teachers that go up for non-renewals. So I think that that's definitely important. And things like this, we're able to lose amazing teachers. We've seen the amazing teachers 2 weeks ago that's from 360 that came and spoke. And that's something that I don't want to sort of lose. This district, we already have a shortage of teachers, and I don't want to continue to push those teachers aside. So that's the only thing that's concerning, but I just wanted to let 360 know I heard what you said. I haven't been able to reach out to the district personally on the matter, so I plan to do that early next week to see if there's anything I can do. It's tough because I heard the commissioners stamped her approval like she's done. But I think that if we can take an active part in supporting it and you keep up the fight, there's a possibility because all things is possible, okay? So I just wanted to let you all know that I'm in fact supportive of 360 high school, all right?
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Any further school board member comment? Ms. Aiken?
Thank you, President Patel. First of all, I do want to say that I do support the 360 high school resolution that was drafted by Mr. Mabizaboo. I also feel that right on our website it does say just that the student voice is incorporated into the school operations. So it's very important that communications do improve. I also want to congratulate you and the leadership team. I do feel that we are becoming more solidified as a board. We're reaching out to each other, communicating with each other, and supporting each other. I'm very pleased about that. So just wanted to say congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aiken. Any other comments?
I do want to have something.
Vice President Escobar?
Yeah, and this is definitely to our board. We have a council audience as well. Our funding that we have for the city, especially with the General Assembly, the reason why I feel so strongly about as much as we have on education, whether that's city council, whether that's the school board, our delegation in Providence, is we've had a takeover, but there hasn't been really additional money that we've seen. We are getting new school buildings. I think that's definitely a highlight of the current structure. But what I would like for us to focus on is a lot of difficult decisions that are happen, and how do we advocate together as a unified front on just the funding within the school district. So I'm saying this out loud for us to just have this in the forefront. I really just want to talk about it. And I think that's one of our central issues that are facing the education system um, in the city. Stuff in especially school closures, and all the decisions that we made. We have to come together in how we're going to advocate.
Thank you, Vice President Escobar. Any final comments from school board members?
I just wanted to know,
Mr. Stevens?
really quick, is there a way we could get an increase in our stipends, Councilman? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
No, good. All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Stevens. All right, we're gonna move on to committee updates. I don't know if that's what committee meetings or not. I don't think we have. So go ahead, Chairman. My name is committee update.
Yes, so
I'm serious.
so we had a meeting on January 24. We had a presentation for this month. Clinics. I'm going to send a presentation to the all board members. And they talked to us about 5 different programs that they open at Mount Pleasant High School with addressing students' behavioral health. And also they also collaborated with different schools. For example, if you're a student in Central High School, you don't need to go to wait for hours of as you're getting your physical, the sports physical, you can just go to Mount Pleasant when there's a smart clinics. And we talk also about the council, the nursing nurses, they have there, the vaccinations where they offer to students. And also I'm working with the smart clinics manager at Mount Pleasant to schedule a visit with the health and awareness committee for us to actually see what they discuss with us. And also we had another presentation by Sodexo, and one of the, I think this is an amazing achievement by the district. They showed us that the different number of students participation in programs. For example, in elementary in 2022, they had only 77% of students in elementary school participate in the food program. In elementary, they have 33. In high school, they have 33 compared to 2023, where in elementary school, they had 89, middle school 40, and high school 49. This is happening because of the attendance and also the increasing of enrollment. And one of the things, so let's also discuss with us some of the challenges they are facing in schools. For example, we have a school like Bentley, Sacred Green Central, Bishop, Roger William Middle School. They are selling snacks before, during lunch, and after lunch, which is now that's one of the challenges that Select is working with the superintendents to address that. And one of the success story also Basu Select, so they were able to team up with Johnson West University, where they developed a special Hispanic rice recipe, where it is served in schools monthly. And students requested this actually. And also another great thing is we had Sodexo also inform parents to join the parents advisory committee. The purpose of this committee is to engage students in open dialogue with for Sodexo to have an open dialogue with parents of the PTSD to discuss the food services we offer to students. And I think that's so. And also another last updates. And also we keep having our meeting every 2 weeks on Zoom, and also other teachers at Central High School where we're planning our mental health event for students in May.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Thank you for all your work there. Is there an update from the school building subcommittee? Mr. McCook?
Yes. The building committee's met several times since our last report. Early in February, we defined the mission of the committee. I think it's important that everybody is aware of that because the name of the committee can imply that the verbiage is different from what it actually is. The building committee's mission is to take stock of the progress of the capital plan to give community the opportunity to learn about capital plans for expansion and to offer feedback on developments, and to ensure that construction is in alignment with TAC. We review construction documents, we offer insights on design and construction, but what we don't do is we do not we do not have purview over the closing of school buildings or decisions that happen to end and emerge on the program. So I do think that that's important to know that work does not happen in the building committee. It really is a construction review committee. In the last meeting in February, we reviewed phase 4 of the capital plan. The goal by 2030 is to provide all students in the district with seats in new or like new buildings. There is funding available for that, and it appears that that the district can reach that goal based on the full funding of the phase 4 plan by 2030. One thing to keep in mind is that we currently, according to RIDE in the district, have 2,600 excess seats in existing schools. And by 2030, without further consolidation, that number would go up to 5,500. And so many excess seats is a further drain on the district, and I think it is predictable that this plan is going to require further consolidation and school closures, and policies, I think, around that employed by the board would be beneficial to the district and the stakeholders, as there are opportunities with construction, but there are also potential detriments to the community, as we've seen here firsthand. And these are issues that we encourage RIDE in the district in these committee meetings to consider and to learn from previous situations, so that we're not repeating the same mistakes of the past that have led the community to feel disempowered and surprised and unheard during these processes.
Thank you, Mr.
And when I say mistakes, I just want to say that's a personal opinion. It's not.
Mr. President, let me talk.
Mr. Stephen?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, you said something's not sort of made in school building committee, I don't know that.
Okay, what I wanted to state, just to be clear, is that it's not the purview of the school building committee to review the closures or discontinuation of facilities. That's not the definition of building. The building it really is building, like the verb, building new buildings and construction. So we don't have purview over the use of existing buildings necessarily.
And I just wanted to just say really quick, just as a thought, if in fact, say you are named the chairman of the committee, maybe that's something you can probably look into. Maybe that's something that sort of needs to be added to the school building committee. The overview of closures, maybe that discussion sort of takes place there. I don't know if that's sort of like a thought, but I do think that there may be a level of transparency on like the local level where some community members or something can sort of get brought up where the community can express themselves in a way where RIDE is in the room, district staff from the district is in the room, and then board members are in the room as well.
Well, just to answer your question, because there's a number of things to respond to there. The first is that the building committee is not a committee of the board. It's a committee of the district and of RIDE. And my seat on the board is as a presidential appointee. So we as a board, through my membership on the committee, have a vote, part of the quorum. But I'm not
Understood.
the chair of that committee, nor would that ever be a possibility. Having said that, I will say that, and you've been to the committee meetings before, Mr. Stevens, so you've seen this, that it's a highly functioning committee. Like, I think personally, like seeing the building committee is seeing PPSD at its best. There's community input, there's parent input, Ryan is there, the construction people are there, PPSD is there, the city is there, sometimes. But they are occasionally there. But I mean, as I guess I should call her Secretary Hughes, would say as well, it's a highly functioning group of people doing great work for the district, and I encourage anyone who wants to go to these meetings to come and see that, because it's exciting what's happening, it's challenging what's happening there. Obviously, new schools come along with other parts of the program which can involve consolidation, which are difficult. But it's a meeting after which I think people usually leave invigorated and excited about the future. And I would say that Ryan is there, which is important. And Secretary Hughes could tell you that I've made it a point at those meetings to encourage, at the least, Bride to be more present in the district, including at meetings like this, to have more accountability to the public and to be more of a partner for the board publicly regarding decisions that are being made about the
Set one question this week. The 2030 plan and the consolidation seats. Have you made any projections to 55,000 seats in that time that you eliminated?
No, these projections are not being. They were delivered to us by Bride, or presented by Bride in that meeting. But there's about 18,000 students, I believe, in PPSD at this point. Currently, the district has a capacity for an additional 2,600, but enrollment has been declining, right? And enrollment continues to decline as projected. If the existing facilities all stayed the same, there would be 5,500, not 55,000, but 5,500 extra seats by 2030, which means more empty classrooms in older buildings that have to be maintained without delivering value specifically to the children of the district. So that was the excess capacity is another issue that's required for financing. We have to eliminate, to the best that we can, excess capacity for a financial sustainability matter, because, and this is one of the issues at Mount Pleasant, which is that the school is too big. I mean, the schools are too big for the amount of kids that are there. We're maintaining classrooms that don't get used, facilities that don't get used, that are, also deteriorating.
Is this statewide, looking at just city of Providence?
I can't speak on behalf of Bride, but the way that Bride has described this in those meetings is that no, this is not specifically, a Providence issue. This is happening all across the city. So they are applying the same. There's only one, Central Falls, maybe, under state control in addition to Providence, but Bride is working with all of the districts for building management in this way, trying to right size capacity to the number of kids that are there.
Thank you. So that's it for committee updates. Next on our agenda are items 8.1 and 8.2, the second read of the parent involvement policy and of the summer school policy. So it's the second read and adoption. Do I have a motion to approve items 8.1 and 8.2 on the second read?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Motion second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question for the parent involvement. What in fact are they being involved in? Haven't had a chance to look at that policy.
We have our policy advisor here.
Yeah, so the parent involvement policy was taken by the FACE office, and they started off with a regular intake form. They consulted departments within the district, but also the PAC leadership, and did a form. We edited it due to the changes requested by family members and those departments. And then once we actually revised the entire thing, they once again brought it to PAC for a final reading, and they approved it, and then we brought it here.
And did all, so did Pat just receive the, sort of, who was it, like, was it the policy sort of?
Yeah.
So did any of the, like, parent or groups outside of PAC receive that information?
I don't have the stakeholder list on me, but I could send it to you.
Okay, and then lastly, I just wanted to know, because it's a big policy, even I didn't read it, but parent involvement is a big policy. I just want to sort of make sure that each parent within Providence,
Yeah.
or guardian is able to review it. I'm not going to vote no on it, I'm gonna support it, but I just want to make sure each family gets that policy so they know that it's there.
So, the parent involvement policy is actually required by Title I, since we get funding through Title I. And as a requirement, it has to be readily accessible for families. We have it translated in every language on our website, but with that, it requires schools to make homeschool compacts, and that needs to be sent to families in the beginning of the year every year. So every year, homeschool compacts based on this parent involvement policy are given to students in every single school.
Are we able to list that policy on like the student Skyward or?
I can look into that with comms.
Okay, I think that, and then lastly, I would say, I think we have Kinbo, I believe that's what it's called. I don't know if we can don't have it no more, Kinbo.
Our schools.
We have another similar.
Are we able to send it through that as well or no?
I can communicate
I
with
just
comms
want to
on
make
that.
sure
and try.
parents have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Stevens. Quick comment, Vice President Escobar just mentioned to me that the policy documents are not attached to the agenda, so Ms. Madam Clerk, if we could just ensure that at least 48 hours prior, so just a prior involvement.
The summer school policy is attached, but not the parent policy.
That's just administrative note. Thank you for pointing that out, Mr. Vice President Escobar. Someone want to mention?
No, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aiken. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Items 8.1 and 8.2 are approved. Mr. Solicitor, do we still need executive session today?
Mr. Chair, just prior to, well, actually during this meeting, I received the last resolution to the outstanding non-renewals that were scheduled to proceed in executive session. So with that, I no longer have a matter to be heard in executive session. That was just resolved actually during the course of this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Real quickly, for the benefit of our new school board members, just very briefly, can you give an overview of non-renewals?
Sure, certainly. So prior to March 1st, the district is required to give statutory notice to any teacher who is not tenured, who the district elects to not receive tenure for the subsequent year. So by virtue of statute, this was the last opportunity we were to have to proceed with the non-renewal of teachers for the upcoming school year. So all of that has to be done before March 1st. In fact, the teacher actually has to have the notice in hand by March 1st. So if we had to proceed with these non-renewals, I was going to have the constable or sheriff actually have to hand deliver the notices tomorrow, because today would have been the last day and tomorrow would have been the statutory notice date to receive the letter. So thankfully we've resolved those matters at work. We had 22 matters that were scheduled to proceed tonight. We worked pretty diligently over the last 2 weeks to try and resolve them. I had 3 that were outstanding up until maybe 40 minutes ago. So we don't have to proceed with that, but I would like to give the board members, especially the new board members, a little bit of an overview about some of the statutory processes, including the non-renewal process under both the Tenure Act and the School Administrator's Rights Act, either during a retreat or at a subsequent board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. That brings us to adjourning the meeting. Before we Mr. Phil?
I'm sorry, I was, wanted to ask, Chair Aiken a question about the finance committee. There wasn't a report. So may I
Oh, I'm
do that?
sorry.
Just on the.
I didn't know if you had a finance committee meeting or not.
There is no quorum for finance committee meeting to be held in February. The next meeting is scheduled for March 13th.
I think we still have a question.
Yeah, I have a question and if you have to research for the answer, it's totally fine. But my question is that, in the former chair's, report to the board, we were regularly covering, approval of contracts. And my question is it does the finance committee of the board have any purview, review, consultation on budgetary matters for PPSD? So for example, we know that we have substantial fiscal deficits facing us for 2025 school year. Mr. Scott had presented about that in December. And so my question is, like, does the board finance committee have a role specifically in working through budgetary projections and forecasts and decisions that have to be made through the finance committee?
Did you receive those type of updates? We do work closely with the administration on some items, but mostly we are looking to get more involved in trying to bridge that gap, which is significant projection between 15 and $30 million. So we've been looking at how to tighten that up, but and work more closely with finance directors.
And Charlie, are we within our rights to receive like that information from finance?
To receive the information from the committee?
Yeah, from the committee, yes. Did you
What
hear his
information?
question? Can you repeat the question? Hopefully you
Well, my question is, and I think the chair answered that part of it. My question was like, does the finance committee have purview, consultation, or just any decision-making authority over the determination of future school budgets, or is it just the purpose just to review specific contracts, approve contracts, and the chair said that budgetary matters are discussed, right?
Correct.
So under the order of reconstitution and control, the actual decision-making authority over such budgetary decisions will be vested in the commission. So it's reviewed by the committee, but the discretionary decision-making process for such budgetary decisions will still reside with the commission.
That makes total sense. So, but what I think, if we're imagining, maybe we shouldn't be imagining, maybe we should be preparing for a post-takeover situation, return to local control, I think that practice in the finance committee of actually, like, even if it's not binding,
You're right.
but of working with the district, through the budgetary process could help pave the way for, that part of the board's work to get conducted in terms of local control.
And that certainly was the case prior to the intervention. So budgetary authority that the school board would approve of district proposed budget.
Okay, so then, I guess if I could just follow up quickly, like, and I'm not trying to interfere with the work of Chair Aiken, but just speaking about Chair Idiemi, Chair Idiemi, the previous chair of the Finance Committee, in his reports wasn't really covering that aspect of the Finance Committee's work. And I think, for the board to publicly be discussing that part of the work with the community might be appropriate, at this point, considering the challenges that we're facing as we sort of build our capacity to be effective in a world where
I like sort of, yes. Yeah, 100%. One of the things that I think I've said in my pitch to everyone here is that I want to make the dialogue at the community level a lot more robust. Chair Aiken and I have discussed that, budgetary oversight, budgetary overview, budget presentations, regular updates, whether they happen quarterly, however often they happen, should happen frequently at the finance committee. You're 100% right. We should be doing more than just approving or not or disapproving contracts. We should be having those types of in-depth dives, deep dives, and dialogues at the committee level. I've already discussed with Mrs. Zach Scott, who's sitting in the back, that I would like sort of like a precursor to a budgetary presentation at the finance committee, which we will discuss, Chair Aiken. And then I believe that in April, the full board will get a more robust, updated budget presentation on where we're at in April. But you're right, we should be having regular updates on where we're at district finances at the committee level, which Chair Aiken is prepared to do so.
Mr. President?
Mr. Stevens?
The last question that I have for the night, hopefully, is to the attorney. Charlie, I wanted to know, I'm hearing that there is a chief academic officer that has been offered the job. According to, I believe we had an agreement with RIDE, they're supposed to be reviewed here at the school board meeting. I want to know, do you have any information on that? And when in fact will that individual report before the board?
I don't have any information for you tonight on that. I would have to get back to you with an answer on that. If you'd like, I'll inquire with the superintendent's office.
Thank you.
Thank you for flagging, Mrs. Stevens. All right. Secretary Hughes?
Thank you. As I am new to this process with both participating as a board member, as a new leader, and in the committee process, I was wondering if someone could clarify for me and for the public, what opportunities are there at the committee level for the public to provide comment and or input during this discussion? Is it prohibited?
I'll take that one if I may.
Thank you, Karen.
The committee meetings are also open to the public. They're public meetings. So they fall under the same guidelines and principles as other public meetings under the Open Meetings Act. So public participation in those meetings is welcomed, and you can either entertain it as the chair of the committee or put it on as part of the notice of such committee meetings as a specific item to be heard during the course of the meeting.
That's an extremely important point, Secretary Hughes, because once things, and I know most of the members of the public have left, but once things come to this level, they've already been thoroughly discussed, they've already been approved by committees, there's already been a presentation, there's already been a Q&A, and so once it gets to this level, it's basically like the last level before we take a position on it. So I encourage members of the public to please pay attention to our committee meetings, because that's where the work is happening. That's where input is being applied in real time. So 100% important that the public is part of that dynamic.
Mr. President, one last question. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it on purpose. I think that a great opportunity, or I don't know, a great suggestion, I may say, for our committee meetings and school board meetings would be, and this is something the leadership team could hopefully do, is sort of post it on the school department's website when upcoming meetings are getting ready to take place. I know that, in fact, City Council, they have their own separate page than the mayor's office. I don't know if that's something we look into, or if there can be sort of an agreement where we're able to post upcoming meetings so the public know on the school's website.
Great point, Mr. Stevens, and it's something we'll discuss with the communications team here. We do have the calendar. It's a little wonky on the website, which it's not the prettiest thing. Or if people use it, it doesn't give you the most information.
Right.
But you're right. I think we could do a better job. To your point, we could do a better job advertising the meetings, what's happening at meetings, and their significance. Yes. All right. Any final comments before we adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn from Vice President Escobar. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Madam
Thank you, guys.
Secretary, can I speak to you?